Last night I received a call from a high school friend's sister. Larry was a guy I met in ninth grade at St. John the Baptist High School in West Palm Beach. We were buddies. We rode bikes. We talked about cars. We had the same crush on the same girl in ninth grade. He got the girl, or at least temporarily got the girl. And we became friends from that. We lived pretty much in the same town, but on opposite sides of the town. So I would ride my bike over to his house. Ninth grade, 10th grade, ride my scooter. I'd hang out with his family. He'd come over to my house. And just have a lot of positive memories with Larry. When I first went to college, there was a museum that had the same last name as him, and I would always think about him every time I passed that. And over the years we lost touch, but then rekindled through social media. And hey man, how are you? What's going on? And I knew that he had cancer. I also knew that he rang a bell that said that he was cured of cancer. Then we were going to plan a trip. I was going to come out there with another one of our friends, or even closer friend to Larry, Kevin. And then he said he'd come back, and seemed a little bit more distant on the phone, and I should have known. I should have just made that trip, but I didn't make that trip. I thought maybe just, hey, we were friends when we were younger. He has family and friends. I don't know what I thought. I prayed for him. I thought about him. I talked about him. Probably will talk about good times and laughs. Larry was a good dancer. I remember just hanging out in his room and chilling and talking about music, and I don't know. Lots of high school memories. We got together once when I became an attorney. I forget where he was, but I drove up, and I think it might have been Sean, another friend of ours, Sean, and him and I met up and then drove up. And I forget where he lived in Florida, but northern Florida. Just literally went, hung out for a few hours, had dinner, and I don't even remember that much of that. I just remember meeting him at a restaurant. But it's weird, even when you lose touch with people or you don't talk to them as much, that bond, that connection that you had with them when you were young in a different chapter of your life. When his sister called me, I don't know, my mind went like, oh, I hope Larry's okay. But in my mind, I also went, it's probably not the case. And just to hear her tears and know how close they were, and now having the night to think about it, it's just sad. I spoke to his best friend this morning, Julius, and they kept in touch and talked all the time. And I get it, right? We're in each other's lives for different chapters in life. And he was a mainstay in some chapters, in my teenage years, and him and his family moved away to Florida. And I've even driven by his house, like, oh, I used to hang out there all the time. And just like I've driven by my house or Kevin's house or Sean's house, or, you know. And it's sad, you know. I'm definitely saddened by it. I know he has a wife, he has children. I think all of them are grown now. But I don't think it takes away the sting for those children, right? I recently lost my dad. I know that pain. I don't really know his wife, but I can't imagine the grief that she's going through. Just tough, man. Even though we didn't talk a lot, now I know that if I call or text, he will not be picking up the phone, and I think that's the sad part. Every time I see an old car, from a Grand National to a Mustang to, I don't know, the 4Runners, I'll always think of Larry and his knack for fixing things, his knack for basically buying cars, fixing them up, and then selling them. He started doing it when we were kids, spent time changing brakes and doing all those things, and apparently got very good at it, you know. And every so often I would send him a picture of a car, and I don't know, we even talked about redoing some old BMX bicycles that we had as kids. I don't know, just it's good memories. So I'm sad to hear of his passing. My condolences to his entire family. And just there's a part of my heart that's acknowledging the loss. I'm gonna miss my old friend. Again, as you get older, you start to get these calls. I don't know. There's certain songs I'll think about Larry, certain cars I'll think about Larry, certain conversations I'll think about Larry. And I ask God that He comfort the family and that Larry rest in peace. And I pray that one day we'll reunite again. Anyway, to Larry.